thanks. I see Bell has notified me that we have reached quorum. And as this is a special meeting, we had to carve out time for, I want to be sensitive to everybody's schedule. So let's get started, okay? Good morning. I'm going to call this meeting to order. My name is Janet Poutre. I am the chair of the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture, and thank you for joining us on this special meeting. I'd like to ask my colleagues on the commission to keep your video on throughout the meeting to remain as accessible as possible to our audience. And I ask the same of our commission staff that is participating. I'm going to do a quick roll call to confirm commissioner attendance. And when I call your name, please unmute yourself and say present. Commissioner Frank, Commissioner Blevins.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Bossler.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown. Commissioner DeZenzo. Commissioner DeZenzo, unmute yourself and say present. I see you, but I can't hear you. Okay, Commissioner Hughes.
Present.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Meza. Commissioner Nwana. Commissioner Opstad.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith.
Present.
Thank you. Commissioner Schonbrun. And Commissioner Whooper.
Present.
Okay, Commissioner DeCenzo, can you unmute yourself and say present?
Present.
Thank you. All righty. Your attendance has been noted. Also joining us today is our arts and culture staff, including Executive Director Jonathan Gluss, Chief of Civic Arts Strategies, Christine Jones, Senior Public Art Manager Chuck Miller, Interim Senior Arts and Culture Funding Manager Carla Centeno Aguirre, Project Manager Bel Reza, Civic Art Project Manager Dr. Laura Bullock, as well as representatives from the Office of Boards and Commissions, City Attorney's Office, and our crack City IT Department. Since I noticed that the agenda does not have the statement of purpose and vision on it, I guess I'm going to ask Jason, because I know he knows it by heart, to please state it for us.
Good morning. The purpose, the City of San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture serves in an advisory capacity to the Mayor and City Council on promoting, encouraging, and increasing support for the region's artistic and cultural assets, integrating arts and culture into community life, and showcasing San Diego as an international tourist destination. Our vision, expanding our world by spreading creativity. I don't know.
Celebrating creativity.
Celebrating creativity. I butchered it finally.
Well, you did a great job. Thank you. And you're the only one I know that has it memorized. I printed it out for myself. All right. Thanks for doing that. Okay. I'm going to ask Belle just to give us a rundown on the guidelines for today's meeting. Belle?
I'll be filling in for Belle as she's having some technical issues with her audio.
Okay.
So good morning, commissioners. As you've noticed, we are conducting this meeting as a Zoom webinar in effort to provide greater accessibility. Members of the public may join the meeting as webinar attendees in order to provide virtual, non-agenda, and agenda comment in real time. Commissioners, city staff, and authorized presenters are attending the meeting as panelists, and the meeting will function for them identically to a typical Zoom meeting. As a refresher, please note the buttons on the control bar at the bottom of the Zoom window. The camera icon is to activate your video. The microphone is to mute and unmute, and please remember to stay muted when you are not talking and to unmute yourself when you speak. You will also see the chat window button. Please keep your chat window open at all times as you will be using the chat signal when you'd like to speak. We do recognize that there is a hand raising function. However, we request that you type speak in the chat window for the record, and the chair will acknowledge the requests in order. When wanting to make a motion, second a motion, or participate in a discussion, please type speak in the chat box, and the chair will call on you in the order entered. Please refrain from using the meeting chat for anything other than signaling that you would like to speak in order to comply with the Brown Act. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Nice work. Do we have any non-agenda public comment?
So there was no non-agenda public art comments submitted. I will ask attendees if they would like to provide non-agenda public comment to signal by pressing the hand raise button now, and I will call on you in order. And when I call on you, please state your name for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to provide comment. And so we have one attendee. So Sean Boyd, you may now provide your comment.
Thank you, Sean Boyd. Good morning, commissioners, and thank you for all of your work for San Diego's arts and cultures. My name is Sean Boyd, and I am the Artistic Director of Trinity Theater, an organization I co-founded in 2012 as a senior at San Diego High School. This year has presented many challenges for the country, the state, and America's finest city. However, it has also been an opportunity for our industry to innovate and to adapt. 1 week after the pandemic, Trinity brought our arts education program online, demonstrating that economic disruptions should not deter creative expression. We've also had the great pleasure of aligning ourselves with more than 40 theater companies through the San Diego Theater Alliance, for which both myself and Trinity's Associate Artistic Director, Ms. Candace Crystal, serve as 2 of the 9 ambassadors. My biggest pride, however, is with our Storytime program, where in partnership with the San Diego Public Library and Kitabu Club Adventures, we provide a book reading and a performance of a fairy tale or fable for our youngest locals, with greatest impact in districts 5 and 9. We have made great strides in such an abnormal time, but are now earnestly anticipating the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccine. As we approach a full rollout, we hope that funding and health guidelines will help the arts sector best prepare for a reopening when it is safe to do so. Please feel free to reach out if I, Trinity Theater, or the Theater Alliance can be of assistance in preparation for that time. Thank you for your time and your commitment to our community.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment, Chuck?
I am seeing no other public comment.
Okay, good. And for the record, I'd note that Commissioner Frank has joined us. Hello, Vernon. Good morning. Thank you for coming. All righty. So next up, we have our first action item. Everybody ready? It's our December 16th minutes from our last meeting in December. So is there any public comment on that, Chuck?
I received no public comment in writing, and I'll ask if members in attendance would like to comment. Please press the hand raise button now. Seeing none.
Very good. Thank you. All right. I hope everybody had a chance to read through these minutes. Would somebody like to make a motion by typing speak in the chat box to make a motion on these minutes? Somebody type speak. Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioner Opstad?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from the December 16th, 2020 Arts and Culture Commission meeting.
Thank you. And Commissioner Bossler?
I second.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Anybody have anything to add to these minutes or any comments, corrections?
I'll just note for the record really quickly that Doreen Schoenbrum just joined the meeting.
Very good. Welcome, Doreen. Okay, so we're going to take a vote then. When I say your name, you'll respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. And remember, you do not have to have been present at this meeting to vote on this item. So let's get going. Commissioner Frank?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Blevins?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Bossler?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown? It's not here. Commissioner DeZenzo?
Yay.
Commissioner Hughes,
Yay.
Commissioner Opstead,
Yay.
Commissioner Smith,
Yay.
Commissioner Schonbrun,
Yay.
and Commissioner Whipper.
Yay.
Thank you. And my vote is a yay. All right. Thank you, everybody. Moving on to committee reports, policy and funding. Is there any public comment to be read for this item?
I received no public comment in writing, and I'll ask attendees if they would like to comment to please press the hand raise button now. Seeing none.
All righty. Commissioner Bossler, would you like to share your committee report and action item?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. The Policy and Funding Committee on January 8th, we took action on recommending to the commission a slate of commission advisory panelist candidates to evaluate proposals submitted in response to the fiscal year 22 organizational support program, as well as the Creative Community San Diego request for proposals. The Policy and Funding Committee also saw a presentation by Jonathan Gless regarding arts and culture nonprofit relief using programmed funds to support fiscal year 2021 OSP and CCSD contracted organizations in their ability to sustain operations and to retain workers following the COVID-19 state of emergency. The total amount of money available to reallocate at present is approximately $271,000. The action item today, do we want to go into the action item today?
Sorry. Unless anybody has any questions at this point, or we can have some more discussion after you introduce the action item and we get a second. So you can go ahead and introduce it.
Okay, terrific. So this particular action item is to approve the slate of commission advisory panelist candidates that would evaluate proposals submitted for fiscal year 22 for both OSP and CCSD.
Okay, so you're making a motion. Do we have a second? Somebody type speak, Commissioner Opstead?
I'd like to second the motion.
Thank you. All right, is there any discussion? Does anybody have any questions or comments? Great. Okay, seeing none, then we can go ahead and vote on this item. Again, I will call your name and unmute yourself, say yay, nay, or abstain. Okay, Commissioner Frank?
I'm sorry, could I have clarity, please, on the question?
Certainly. Anne, do you want to clarify a little bit?
So what the action item today would do is to approve the slate of candidates to be panelists. And those are the folks that will evaluate the fiscal year 22 OSP and CCSD requests for funding from the Arts Commission.
Of course, thank you, Anne. I appreciate that. And so it just seems that aren't we going to introduce this and talk about it? I mean, how can I vote on something I know nothing about? I don't understand.
So in previous meetings, we've discussed that we wanted to have a wider depth and breadth of panelists available to review proposals. And then we had talked at length previously with respect to not only how staff went about doing that and getting people from various places, but also in a way the opportunity that COVID presented, because this will happen virtually. There's a whole slate that was presented. I'm not sure if there's a way for anybody to put that up on the screen now, but there's a whole thoughtful list of folks that have been vetted that would be available to be able to serve as the panelists. We transitioned last fiscal year where commissioners ourselves are not the ones doing any of the vetting of the proposals and applications, but instead it's a thoughtful compilation of folks. So hopefully that gives a little bit more background. If you have other questions, we're happy to address those as well.
And I would just like to add that this would be adding to the pool. So it's not that all of these people on the slate will be serving, but they'll be added to the pool, and then we'll select based on expertise, diversity of council districts. You know, we kind of have these different criteria that we look at and check off as we actually compose the panels.
Excellent.
Anne. Thanks, Carla. Vernon, did that answer your question?
Nearly. Thanks, both of you, for that. And so this adds to the pool, and I understand that it's a thoughtful process, and I guess I can assume that we are reaching the kinds of folks as far as voices and diversity and experience that we're seeking. And so my last question is, if this is a pool, then who and when, how is the final decision made to set up the panels? Is that something within commission staff, or is that a wider selection thing that involves we, the commissioners?
Carla, do you want to take that one?
Yes, so that is something that we do internally with staff. That's actually something that that both Christine and Jonathan and I are doing this week, is looking at who served in the past. Those candidates have already been approved for 3 years. So we look at that slate, we looked at who was there, and then we look at this new slate that would be approved, and then start composing it based on that, thinking about expertise, what council districts are representing, diversity, so on and so forth. So we take all of those things into account to create them, and then we'll reach out to them to see about availability.
Excellent. So I would just ask that if there was some way to demonstrate that back to we, the commissioners, that those goals were met, and actually the definition of those goals as far as experience, prior service, diversity, and whatnot. Jonathan, you agree?
I do. Vernon, thank you for that comment. So we do, just to underscore what Carla said, this functions in the same way that the public art functions, in that the Public Art Committee approves candidates and then alternatives, and then staff fills the panels based on expertise, but also availability, which is why we don't come to you for an exact approval of every exact panel. But with that said, we could do a much better job of coming back to you. In fact, we should do this on an annual basis. We come back to you with a report on, let me step back one step further. We have criteria in place for the way that we build the panels. So we can come back to you formally with a report on how we met those objectives in building the panels. And we're happy to do that. In fact, we could make this part of the maybe a July report. So we institutionalize this. So we're all together tracking how we're meeting panel objectives.
I would certainly welcome that, and I think it would be beneficial to the commission at large. So thanks for the clarity, and my vote therefore is yay.
Okay, thank you, Vernon, but I noticed that Rebecca would like to add something.
I just wanted to further reassure you, Vernon, that this process is where we really get to work together with the staff and trust that the staff, once we actually approve these panelists, they may or may not sit on a panel, but really our job is to go out into the community as commissioners and continue to bring more people to the table, right? To introduce them to the work of the commission and hopefully get them to apply to be panelists. And that's where I feel like we can focus our efforts throughout the year. So that by the time they get to this point, we can trust that whether or not Carla puts them on a panel, we're going to be good. So just wanted to say, and just for all the great work that you've done on this, I'm really excited about the list in front of us. Thank you, Anne.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, guys.
All right, nice. Thank you. All righty, so back to voting. We're going to take a vote. We have a motion on the table to accept this panel. And by the way, one of the beauties of this Zoom doing it like this is we can include people who live elsewhere. And so I think that makes for even broader opportunities to have people with specific knowledge of what they're looking at. So, alrighty, so here we go with the vote. Commissioner Frank?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Blevins?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Bossler?
Did you hear me? Yay.
Yes, thank you. Commissioner DeZenzo?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Let's see, Commissioner Opstead?
Yay.
Thanks. Commissioner Smith?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Schonbrun?
Yay.
Thank you. And Commissioner Whooper?
Yay.
Thank you. And I am voting yay as well. All right. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Now we're moving on to our Public Art Committee. There is an action item for them as well. And I believe, Jason, are you the vice chair? Ben is not here today.
I'm happy to fill in on behalf of Ben, if that's okay with Jason.
Yeah, no, I would appreciate that because I didn't know that I would have to take.
It was somewhat late notice.
Thank you.
Okay. All righty. Chuck, do you want to tell us what's happening?
Sure. Thank you, Commissioner Poutre. And on behalf of Commissioner Mesa, I'll report that for January's Public Art Committee meeting, there were 2 action items. The first action item is the artist selection panelist for the Beyer Park Public Art Project. The recommendation, the Public Art Committee recommendation is for the following panelists for the Beyer Park Public Art Project. Anjung Park for the seat of the Public Art Committee member with Ben Meza as an alternate, and Francisco Morales for the seat of the Visual Art and Design Professional with recommended alternates in no particular order to serve as 2 of the 5 ad hoc artist selection panelists. I can give an overview of the Beyer Park Public Art Project. So next slide, please. So the Beyer Park Public Art Project comprises a set aside for public art to accompany capital improvement projects, in this case, a new 8-acre park to occupy a presently vacant 43-acre lot south of Beyer Boulevard and just east of the 805 freeway in San Isidro. The new park will serve the communities of San Isidro as well as Otay Mesa and will include ball fields, playgrounds, picnic areas, restrooms, a dog park, a skate park, and walking trails in addition to public art. Next slide, please. For the public art project, an artist or artist team will be commissioned to create a permanent site-specific artwork that responds to the unique context of Beyer Park. The artist fee will be $170,000 and the RFQ will be open to artists authorized to work in the US. Artists will apply by submitting qualifications and a 5-member ad hoc selection panel will evaluate applications and recommend 1 artist for the contract award. Construction on the park is currently anticipated to be completed by the end of 2023. Next slide, please. So as noted, the Public Art Committee is recommending Anjung Park with Ben Meza as an alternate for the seat of the Public Art Committee member, and Francisco Morales for the seat of the Visual Art and Design Professional to serve as 2 of the 5 ad hoc artist selection panelists. And Francisco Morales is an artist currently based in San Isidro who has exhibited widely internationally and is currently the gallery director of Casa Familiar's Art and Culture Center, The Front in San Isidro. So that's it. I'm happy to answer any other questions about the Beyer Park Public Art Project. Otherwise, I'll hand it back to you, Commissioner Poutre.
Thank you, Chuck. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, Vernon?
Location, the road, the street intersection?
Yeah, so that the new park, which is, it's currently open space, so it's undeveloped, but it is south of Beyer Boulevard in San Isidro and just east of the 805 freeway.
Anybody else?
Can you go to the last slide? There you go.
Yeah.
So this is currently undeveloped property.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Anybody else? Great, then could I have a motion on this action item, please? Somebody type speak.
Bye.
Somebody make a motion. Jason?
So moved.
Okay, Tyler?
Seconded.
Thank you. Okay, we have motion and a second. No further discussion. Great, I'll go ahead and take the vote. Please unmute yourself. And by the way, you can do that really quickly by holding down the space bar for a couple minutes. I'm going to call your name and you respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Commissioner Frank?
I tried the spacebar method, failure. My vote is yay.
Thank you for testing. Commissioner Blevins?
Yay.
Commissioner Bossler?
Yay.
Commissioner DeZenzo?
Yay.
Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Commissioner Opsted?
Yay.
Commissioner Smith?
Yay.
Commissioner Schonbrun?
Yay.
Commissioner Whooper?
Yay.
And my vote is a yay. Thank you, everybody. Okay, there is a second action item from Public Art.
Thank you, Commissioner Poutre. The second action item is the artist selection panelist for Here Comes the Neighborhood in Canto. And the Public Art Committee recommends the following panelists for Here Comes the Neighborhood in Canto. Ben Meza for the seat of the Public Art Committee member with Doreen Schonbrun as the alternate. Roman DeSalvo for the seat of the Visual Art and Design Professional #1. And Lonnie Batista Cabanilla for the seat of the Visual Art Design Professional #2 with recommended alternates in no particular order to serve as 3 of the 5 ad hoc artist selection panelists. And I'll call on Christine to give an overview of the project and the recommendation.
All right, good morning, commissioners. So again, today I'll be presenting the Public Art Committee's recommendation for panelists for the second iteration of the city's Here Comes the Neighborhood Public Art Initiative. So just to give you all a little bit more background, so let's go to the next slide if we can. So as you all might remember, this Public Art Initiative is really essentially designed to bring visually engaging, conceptually rich artworks to San Diego neighborhoods. The initiative itself will program and activate 4 neighborhoods over time. So a different neighborhood will be initiated ideally biannually. As you well know, the first iteration of this initiative is located in San Ysidro. So where the city has commissioned 3 artists to develop small scale public artworks. So that first iteration, we're nearing completion. So we anticipate completion in the first half of 2021. So we're gearing up for the second iteration of the initiative, where artists will be commissioned to explore the Encanto neighborhoods in Southeast San Diego. Let's go to the next slide. So in alignment with the Here Comes the Neighborhood Public Art Initiative, there are goals that have been established. So the goals for the second iteration, which are the same as the San Ysidro iteration, with the exception of the neighborhood in question, is to really directly respond to sites within the Encanto neighborhoods, advance forward-thinking contemporary art practices, support really conceptually rich and visually rich artworks, and works that create cultivation in terms of critical thinking, dialogue, connection, and otherwise impact or affect the people and visitors to that particular neighborhood or neighborhoods. So let's go to the next slide. The artwork opportunity itself will be essentially for up to 3 artists, similar to San Ysidro. Up to 3 artists will be commissioned to essentially explore the neighborhoods and the development of works that are spatially and socially connected and respond to context of the neighborhood, as well as the artist's individual practices. The selection panel process itself, let's go to the next slide. So it'll be a competitive process for Here Comes the Neighborhood initiative. The call for artists is open to California and Baja California artists. Artists submit by submitting qualifications. They'll be able to express their interest, submit a resume or CV, as well as a work sample. An ad hoc panel comprised of 5 members will evaluate these applications and make recommendations to the city. The panel composition will include a public art committee member, 2 visual art design professionals, as well as 2 community representatives. So up to 3 artists will each receive $35,000. Their scope of work will include design, fabrication, transportation of the artworks, as well as consultation during installation of the artworks by the city. Let's go to the next slide. So as far as the timeline goes, the overall timeline for the Encanto neighborhoods, it'll start in 2021. We anticipate releasing a call for artists this spring. The overall budget for the neighborhood itself, we budgeted about $150,000 for each of our Here Comes the Neighborhood initiatives in different neighborhoods. So 150, that number comprises the overall budget for the whole entire project, as well as the artist fees, installation fees, and programming and outreach. We anticipate completion of the project in 2023. So today, again, I'll be just providing the Public Art Committee's recommendation for 3 of the panelists to serve on the panel itself. So let's go to the next slide. So the Public Art Committee is recommending the public art seat, Ben Meza for that seat, as well as Doreen Schulburn as an alternate. Roman DeSalvo for the seat of the first visual art and design professional, and Lani Batista Cabanilla for the second seat of the visual art design professional, with the recommended alternates that were provided in the report in no particular order to serve as 3 of the 5 panelists. Just to give you a little bit of context, Roman DeSalvo is a local San Diego-based artist. He's a conceptual artist who works both in sculpture and installation. He has many works that are site-specific, as well as public artworks in context of many places, including Caltrans district headquarters here locally in San Diego. He has a work in the Mission Trails, which was recently completed as a city project. He has artworks at Ruaco Park near the Port of San Diego, as well as being in collections of the Children's Museum, as well as the Museum of Contemporary Art. He has a BFA from California College of Arts and Crafts, and he is a resident of Encanto. He previously served on the Encanto Neighborhoods Planning Group, which is, it goes by a different name now, but he was serving on this planning group during the community plan update, which happened back in 2015. So he's very familiar with the Encanto neighborhoods. The other recommended panelist for the visual art design seat number 2 is Lani Batista Cabanilla. She is currently a manager and community impact at the San Diego Foundation. She is an arts administrator and a community organizer with 15 years of experience serving the arts and culture field. She has recently been appointed to that position at the San Diego Foundation. Prior to that, she served as a senior manager in programs at the New Children's Museum, where she collaborated with contemporary artists and community partners to develop innovative projects and installations that have welcomed over 250,000 children and families annually. She has a degree in art and BA from San Diego State, an AA in visual communications from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and studied human-centered design at the Design Academy. She also serves as a board member and managing director for the Made in Paradise Hills, which is a night market based in Southeast San Diego. So with that, these are the recommended panelists for Here Comes the Neighborhood Encanto. And I have
Christine,
to,
could you remind the commission of how the rest of the panel is built out to ensure community representation as well?
Absolutely. So today we're really talking about 3 of the panelists. We're talking about a public art committee, as well as the visual art design professionals that were served on the panel. In addition to that, there are 2 other seats on the panel. So in alignment with the project plan for Here Comes the Neighborhood, those seats are identified as a planning department seat. And typically this is a community representative that might be serving currently in some capacity within the perhaps a neighborhood planning group. So we'll be reaching out to the planning department to help identify that particular seat. But again, that's a very neighborhood-based seat, and somebody who is very familiar with the planning documents as well as the overall context of the neighborhood. In addition to that, there is another kind of broader scope community seat, and we identify candidates working with the council district. So we'll be working with Council District 4 to identify somebody to serve in that role as well. So hopefully that helps clarify the overall panel composition.
Yeah, Christine, thank you for that. I just wanted to, for purposes of audience in the community, to understand that these are the 3 arts seats, but the panel is built out to represent or to include strong neighborhood voices as well.
Yeah, and I would also just reiterate that the visual art design professionals do have neighborhood voices as well. So just they have kind of 2 hats, if you will, in this case.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty. Does anybody else have anything to add before we go ahead with this? All right, I don't see any. Then would somebody like to type speak? Tracy? Turn your
I was hitting the space bar and it was trying to add a comment to the chat window this time instead of, anyways, okay. I would like to make a motion to approve this panel.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Commissioner Opsted?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, then I will go ahead and take a vote, and you will, I'll call your name and you will respond out loud with yay, nay, or abstain. Don't forget to unmute. Commissioner Frank?
This is an excellent panel. Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Blevins?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Bossler?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner DeCenzo?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes?
Yay.
Commissioner Opsted?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Smith?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Schonbrun?
Yay.
Thank you. Commissioner Whooper?
Yay, and I'd like to echo Commissioner Frank. It is an excellent panel and a very exciting project opportunity.
Thank you. Was your vote a yay?
Yay.
Thank you. And my vote is also a yay. And I'd like to say, I loved how the first Here Comes the Neighborhood project came out. So I'm very excited about this as well. Okay, so that motion carries. Thank you. That's the end of our action items. Do we have a report from Advocacy and Outreach, Commissioner Hughes?
We do. Thank you, Chair. Happy to report that yesterday we had a meeting of the San Diego City Council, and the proposal that moved forward through City Council to repurpose $271,000 of returned funds for fiscal year 2021. The particular bill was the Arts and Culture Nonprofit Relief using reprogrammed funds to support fiscal year 2021 OSP and CCSP contracted organizations, went through unanimously. And I wanted to give a big shout out and thanks to our Executive Director, Jonathan Gluss, and to Christine Jones for their great presentation before City Council. And I want to thank community members, Peter Kaminsky and Molly Turbovich-Ridenour for calling in support. I actually heard back from Joe LaCava's team. I had emailed every City Council member and their chiefs of staff, and heard from one of Joe LaCava's members, and she pointed out, she said, as one of the council members said today, and Councilmember LaCava believes this, the arts are not a luxury to have in San Diego, they are a necessity. So it was great to see unanimous support, and I hope that is a harbinger of good things to come. So that's the report from from Advocacy and Outreach right now. Going to use this as a springboard to keep reaching out to these electeds and table setting for this coming fiscal year and beyond.
Wonderful. Great job, everybody. Thank you very, very much, Tyler. Those letters were excellent. Thank you, Jonathan and Christine, for a presentation that made the difference, and really appreciate, especially we'd been told before that this couldn't happen, and you folks made it happen. So that's great. That's excellent. Very, very happy about that. Alrighty, we are moving on to executive director's reports. Do we have any public comment for that, Chuck?
There was no public comment submitted in writing. I'll ask if attendees would like to provide public comment for this item. Seeing none.
Alrighty, then thank you, Chuck. I'm going to ask Jonathan to go ahead and report out to us.
Great. Thank you, Janet. Good morning, everyone. In respect of your time for this special meeting, I'll make my report short. I just want to first thank Tyler for his leadership with City Council in moving this forward. They were, in fact, tremendously enthusiastic about our opportunity to, excuse me, repurpose the funds. We'll be doing that rather expeditiously. We've held ourselves accountable to a very short turnaround. So we'll be getting guidelines out to our FY21 contractors within the next few weeks. And our goal is to have actual funding to the organizations end of March, early April. So we'll keep you apprised of that. There will be a panel. Think of it just like the arts education panel. Fast, but there will be certainly an opportunity for you all to participate in a way with that panel. And then secondly, Janet, I just want to thank you on behalf of the staff and all the commission for a really great retreat last Friday. Really enjoyed it. Love to be part of the commission's conversation. We look forward to building the FY22 budget with you all in the coming weeks. And that is all my report.
Very good. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, that was a good retreat. The snacks were lame, but other than that, the discussion was really great, and really enjoyed everybody's comments. I made a lot of notes, and I just felt very energized after it. And I appreciate everybody making the time for that, and this meeting as well. So thank you all very much for that. And I can't tell you what a great thing it is to know that the city council was like, oh yeah, totally do that, when we'd been told enough times, oh, you can't. So I love it. Thank you so much. Alrighty.
If I may, Chair.
Oh yes, go
Sorry,
ahead.
Chair. I just wanted to say, Chris Kate enthusiastically supported this.
Whoa. Whoa.
And I think the budget neutral nature of this was a winner for him. So just something, as we're all advocating to our city council members in the future, this commission and our amazing staff are very smart and very aware of how they can do things in a budget neutral or budget conscious way. And I think that's something that needs to be repeated over and over again to all city council members. So I encourage my fellow commissioners, when talking to their city council representatives, just remind them that the arts are not a spendthrift ecosystem. They are exceedingly smart with every dollar.
Good. That's a really good point, Tyler. We do know in the arts, they do know, and we know at the commission how to do a lot with just a little bit. So, okay, well, in respect of everybody's time, what time is it? 9:47. If there is nothing else, then I will go ahead and adjourn this meeting, special meeting. And thank you all for making time today. I'll see you again soon. This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.
Yeah, everybody have a great day.